what we're gonna do, we're just gonna mosey on over and get that other sweater because it's a lot comfier. That's what we're gonna do. Hello, my lovely souls who tune in and come and watch my videos. We're gonna do a quick recap of what we went over in part 3. So, still talking about leading with love, what successful application of the 2 universal laws will look like and feel like. We also touched on the 3 built-in tools we have access to in our body, connecting the brain and the heart to create a super tool. Furthermore, we talked about how to approach communication with self for internal conflict resolution. In addition, this went along with bringing and maintaining harmony of our mind, body, and soul. I asked one hard question, putting into perspective what blind faith is. And we ended it off with the keys to success. Going into this video, we're going to be talking about decisions that we make day to day and how we are deliberately making decisions for the benefit or destruction of ourselves. So from your spiritual guide, me, an evolution mentor, how would you feel to embody everything I've gone over in the past 3 videos? If this is your first video that you're watching or you're having a hard time visualizing this, let me help you. Imagine yourself embodying the wisdom gained from your experiences, radiating empathy and clarity as you guide others through a structured journey of personal and spiritual growth. Picture yourself using a diverse set of skills to manage internal chaos, uncover self-limiting beliefs, and demonstrate the mastery of acceptance and forgiveness. Envision sharing knowledge energetically, becoming a beacon of light and offering practical coping strategies. Visualize emphasizing the powerful connection between the brain and the heart, promoting harmony of the mind, body, and soul, strengthening our instincts and utilizing higher knowledge. See yourself providing essential keys for success, encouraging mindful choices, and where we're placing blind faith, and fostering growth, understanding, and balance in your life and the lives of those you touch. Can you see yourself doing that or being that person? And how would it feel to embody that? Do you think you're worthy of that? This is completely accessible to you with everything that I went over in this video, and all the other prior videos that I have will help break it down more so in detail, because there's a lot that goes into it. And having a sounding board is someone to bounce ideas off of, but not letting the Most High be your guide, of course, always, because that's not my job. I'm going to stay in my lane. But I'm definitely somebody that negotiates between contradiction until harmony is found. So how are we approaching today to create a better tomorrow? What is in our control that can't be taken away from us? And what are we struggling with the most today? In my personal opinion, I would say emotional processing. This is on a personal scale, and it's always going to be on a personal scale, dealt with personally, before we start thinking about a worldly scale. Because simultaneously, by doing the personal, we are also doing the worldly at the same time. We become limitless upon continuous internal work. The intention is to look within and humble ourselves until we are unaffected by whatever triggers are presented. We theoretically shift through dimensions as we interact with one another. So is your dimension untamperable with? How easily are you affected by others? Exactly. We are human. Embrace what being a human is and use the mind to overcome the divide within, always within. What decisions are we deliberately, clearly, consciously, and confrontationally making for the benefit or destruction of our mind, body, and soul? Where do you have internal conflict? Because that's for destruction if you just leave that internal conflict there. The three processing tools we have fall into three groups. This is the same diagram that I had in the last video. So observation equals negotiation, which will balance out and bring harmony. So the mind, mentally. The peace and tranquility I feel today was worth every experience, good, bad, and the ugly. Have you reached that point? Physically and in our body, do I value and appreciate this vessel while I'm here on this earth? Do I research what I put in my body, or do I follow what is recommended by professionals? Emotionally, do you follow where you emotionally on a soul level? Do you follow where you feel called or the things that spark your interest? If not, do you encourage others to do this? And do you sit in self pity or do you seek tranquility? And will stop at nothing until you reach that. Of course, there is our external world and then our internal world where we need to balance all three aspects. So technically, you're going to be balancing out 6 aspects of yourself. And within those 6 aspects, you have multiple variations of dynamics between people, groups, settings, social structures, so like a self concept, and who you authentically are, what you need to bring into congruency. If you remain in my word, then you are truly my disciples. You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. How do we exercise our free will? And we are required, I would highly advise, actually, exercising your free will so you know when to use it. I wrote this back in January of 2024. Not in a book shall you look, prior to the personal relationship with the Creator, where you can read from coast to coast and across all seas, gather a group, better yet, a community. Yet why do you still feel so alone? You study the scriptures, attempting to find meaning. Did you find any permanent relief in what you're reading? The story of another's glory, but you see their reality is not yours. And until you face your own and come to me, you remain without the eyes and ears to perceive the messages you're meant to read. Whom are you entrusting and asking along your way? Stop what you're doing and put that book away. So these aren't my words. This would be from the Most High, Almighty. So when it says me, I'm referring to God, not me as the individual. Free will is the thing you have to exercise. Choosing to do so in a constructive way, like self-control, also furthers your evolution. When you don't exercise your free will, you won't know how to assert yourself effectively and consciously when it comes down to it. And another thing I want to touch on is if God hasn't answered your prayers, change the way you're asking the question. This is your banter between God and you, so that you get to experience what pure intentions are and align yourself with the ways of the Almighty. God is always leading you. Are you willing to listen visually and consciously? Is the question. So, our mind, body, and soul are the exact things required to experience reality. Collectively, This is obviously in the future. I'm just asking the question now, okay? Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. So take this with a grain of salt, please. Big picture, focus on the smaller picture right now. Okay? Okay, capiche, capiche. Collectively, what is the intention for the benefit or destruction of this world? What would setting the intention look like for you to create a better tomorrow? If your mind was a dimension coexisting through our collective reality, universe, would it be important to protect your state of homeostasis? AKA, cover yourself with the armor of God, correct? I would say yes. It is our individual duty to interact with many dimensions throughout our days, while proceeding unbothered and unaffected. The only way we are affected is emotionally. 9 times out of 10, we are playing emotional ping pong with one another, shooting emotional balls out of our biofield instead of grabbing them by our hand and seeing how they trigger through us. Excuse the pun. As the emotions are experienced, we are to balance ourselves and find harmony in our darkness with our light. Remember, opposites attract, so you may think it's impossible, but I'm telling you right now, you will find harmony. You just got to keep negotiating. This is the true armor of God. World War III is very much so mental, and it depends on us to stand together as individuals to create a better and practical and attainable quality of life in the future. No one needs to worry about how. You just need to focus more on what are the intentions to drive the direction. When we focus on ourselves, we will change, evolve often. Letting the Almighty be the guide and our internal individual balance, and watch as we end up within the same intentions, using slightly different concepts, different words, terms, and ways of relating our ideals. Don't get it twisted. Ideal how you operate and worry about your damn selves, okay? Make that an ideal. In other words, let's focus on being human and stay in our lane, while the Almighty does almighty things. You are free to choose what you believe. No one can judge you for it, for all has existed at one point or another. As an advisory, for your own safety, let the Almighty be your mediator instead of calling upon energies. Again, I stress there is no way in hell as humans we know what energy is best to serve the greater good of humanity and our own evolution. This is, again, staying in our lane and let the Almighty do almighty things. So you're free to practice whatever you like, but only call upon the Almighty. And you need to be, because the Almighty is the only way to safeguard purity. Almighty is the only way to know evolution is on the right track. We are human beings. Let's stop trying to micromanage one another and think we know what's best for one another. That's not for us to decide. Again, stay in our lane. Let the Almighty do almighty things. And let's just be human. So that sums up today's video. Again, like and subscribe. If you like my content, follow me on other social media platforms. I do have my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. To be honest with you, TikTok and Instagram I don't do too much on. So maybe just go on Facebook. Anywho, peace and love, and I will see you guys next Wednesday for part 5. And we'll be talking on how we outwit the devil to discover the meaning of life. With love, of course. Ciao for now.